In this lab, ionic and covalent properties, we're going to use the difference in properties between ionic compounds and covalent compounds to determine which is which. So our four substances are salt. This is table salt. It's white crystals. Our sugar, also white crystals. We have copper sulfate, blue crystals, and wax, paraffin wax, which I just scraped off a candle. So our first property that we're going to look at is melting point, and we took in our notes that ionic compounds have very high melting points and covalent compounds have lower melting points. So we're going to put this on a hot plate and see what happens. So right away you can see that candle wax is melted very quickly. Okay, now let's see about our other compounds. And we're going to get a little smoke there. Interestingly, our copper sulfate is starting to change colors, but it is not melting. Okay. Our sugar, on the other hand, is starting to melt. Okay. So here we got some sugar melting. Our candle wax is completely melted into a puddle of liquid that's clear now. Our copper sulfate is starting to turn brown, but it's still not melting. Our salt, not melting. And our sugar is melting. It took a little longer than the candle wax. So if I kept going with this, I would see that my salt and my copper sulfate would actually never melt. Another property that's different between ionic and polar covalent and non-polar covalent is the ability to dissolve in water. Ionic compounds and polar covalent compounds usually dissolve in water because water is a polar molecule. That means it has partial charges. So anything else that would have a charge, they can click together and start dissolving, and we'll go more into that when we get into solutions. So now I'm going to add water, and the first one is wax. So you guys all know wax doesn't dissolve, it just floats there and doesn't do anything. Okay, and then I have my sugar. Let's see if that dissolves. My salt, we'll see if that dissolves, and then I have my copper sulfate. Okay, so if I keep stirring this, we can see we have less and less. So my sugar is dissolving, the wax is not, paraffin wax. The salt, we all know, does dissolve, so if I gave that a few more minutes, it's slowly going away. And here is my copper sulfate. And what's interesting about this is you can see the water starting to turn blue. That means it's definitely dissolving. It might not all dissolve, but a lot of it is dissolving. Actually, I might be able to get all of it to dissolve. So this blue color in the water means it's dissolving, and you can see my salt and sugar are now almost completely dissolved. So these three guys dissolve in water, copper sulfate, salt and sugar, and my paraffin wax is just floating on top. It's never going to dissolve. So the last thing we're going to check is conductivity. Sodium chloride, we have the sodium, which is a positive charge, and the chloride, which is negative. They break up into ions. Charged particles can conduct electricity, so ionic compounds conduct electricity. Covalent molecules stay in molecule form. They don't break apart. They don't have charged particles, so they do not conduct electricity. Hi, so now we're going to check the conductivity, and remember, ionics break apart into ions, so they conduct electricity. Now we're using deionized water, so it won't affect the water that we're dissolving it in, won't affect anything going on. Also, I have my safety glasses on and my hair tied up. These are lab safety procedures. So here is my light, and at the bottom, it's not connected, so there's no way to get the current from one side to another, so it won't flow. However, if there's ions in solution, it will finish the current and the light will light up. So let's see what we have. First, we have our sugar water, and we have no light. So no current there, no charged particles in the water. Then we have our candle wax. Again, no light, so no charged particles dissolved. Our salt, which was my example, should break apart into charged particles and connect the current, and whoo mama, we got some light there. Okay, and our next sample was copper sulfate, and we'll see if this makes charged particles, if it's ionic. Whoo mama, we got some light there too. So let's do this just really quickly. Once again, I gotta rinse this off. Okay, we have sugar water, nothing. Candle wax, nothing. Salt, NaCl, ooh mama. And copper sulfate, ooh mama. Okay, have a good day.